All right, let's do it live on a Thursday edition of the program. And the Thursdays and the Tuesdays, I think, are going to get me through these 2 days. Because they're my least favorite days of the week, Tuesday and Thursday.
Well, Thursday in the fall's got a ton of juice.
It's got juice once you're into the evening.
Football season.
Because you've got, we got Hoff, we got Stefanski, we got the game.
Yeah.
And then you're powering into the weekend. But in a non-football time, it's
not as much.
By the way, March 2nd on the snow melt, I mean, it's been quite a bit off the last couple of days. There's still a ton there.
But we've
cut into it.
Oh, yeah.
Cut into the
we
deficit.
made some progress.
It is.
We need a big rainstorm, like a 24-hour,
it is staying light
50-degree rain.
It is.
The earth is warming. You would never know it.
No.
But it is warming up.
Gibbe, from as the chief meteorologist of this program, your concern level on a scale of 1 to 10 of flooding when this melts is what?
It's melting at a pretty good. It's not like crazy melting.
Okay, so it won't be a rush unless there's a rainstorm.
raising.
Yes, Mr. Zegura.
I don't know about that, but I'm starting to feel pretty good about my under. So we got 44 and rain tomorrow.
Oh, that'll do some damage.
Then we go 38 Saturday, 22 Sunday, but no precipitation. 25 Monday, no precipitation. 34 Tuesday, no precipitation. 52 Wednesday.
Oh, boy.
50 Thursday, 70% rain.
Oh, boy. That is going to do damage there.
If
that happens.
It could be clean as a
Hey, did you
a button.
What is your
Can you have a clean button?
Sure. You said it.
Yeah,
feels like an expression that could be said. What is the did I tell you that I got a new weather app? I'm using AccuWeather now.
AccuWeather's good.
Yeah, my buddy who's he works at one of these joints. He's a meteorologist guy. He's like, "Well, this is the best one." He goes, "I hate to say it, but it's the best one." He works for a competitor. So, and it's been pretty good. It annihilates dark skies, I'll tell you that.
Dark sky, I'm done.
Sad.
I'm going to delete it. I'm deleting it.
I already did. It was a sad day because there was a time when just having that felt like I had won.
Right. You knew what was happening.
I knew what was happening.
Like,
I vouched for it with a lot of people.
Everybody. It used to be elite.
Yeah.
It was the best.
My word was my bond. I was like John Dutton. The word is my bond.
Yeah, and then they sold out and
about
quality went down.
98% of the things in the life, I would agree with you. I have debated that from day one with you. I have not bought in. I never.
You never did. You were always pushing back.
It was
you just
so
used
good,
the
though.
Weather Channel app? Is that what you used? Like
I
just
have
this?
that, and
You got some other
yeah.
little fan. Of course you do. Gibby does.
I got some
sort of
I got
subscription
some people
service.
in
By the way-
Oklahoma City and a few other places that I.
God,
I've got
your tornado chasing days. The memoir.
Yeah, too bad you missed the temperature at kickoff one, though.
Did.
Ouch, yeah.
Did
barely.
miss that one.
Sad. Hate to see it. I do have to tell on my mom, the official Nana of the show.
Yep.
She was really feeling herself, felt like she was really in the club of the show, and she wished me a happy first Friday this morning. And I said, nope. Today's Thursday.
Last night.
That was yesterday.
Night. Oh,
that was
Nana.
yesterday.
Oh, it's a shame. But I did see that you had a yellow jacket, had a couple of yellow jackets, and you did.
Thank you. Yes. So we finished Yellowstone last night, the final 2 episodes of season 4. Great. A little loose on the writing, but the drama, the cinematography.
Stunning.
Moses brings plenty. All of it was tremendous.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I can say that I'm pretty sure that was my first yellow jacket in the squat bottle of my life.
The stubby. Yeah, the little stubby.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So they did that a few years ago on the yellow jackets. They went to the stubbies, and I think it probably helped.
Yeah.
And then I think
the original 1936 bottle.
That's right. That's right. So the between that and then I cannot imagine what sales have done because of that show.
I was trying to think of Coors.
Yeah.
The yellow jacket sales. I went out specifically to a gas station to buy a 6-pack of that for us to have last night. We made a elevated version of
a good way to put it.
A hamburger helper last night with some bison in tribute to the show, and because that's the one meal Beth prepared on the show at one point. But we had our yellow jackets. Upon her first sip, Miss K goes, "This tastes like college." Said,
well, so that's how it is for me. Like that is, that was the official beer of my youth. I always have it at the house. Always have, long before the show. We used to so the yellow jackets were the bottles and the yellow bellies were the cans.
Okay.
Because a lot of times say, "Get me a yellow belly."
Is this the banquet of beers?
Yeah, it's a banquet beer. I think
Right.
that's what it says on the label.
Right, that's the Coors. That's what I was.
Yeah.
I always knew of it as the banquet of beers, but I never heard the yellow term until this show, and then I got myself,
Right.
it fits in the hand nicely.
It's a wonderful fit. It's delicious in all seasons. It can be enjoyed in the summer months over ice with a heavy lime squeeze, which I would call rodeo beers. We used to call those rodeo beers.
Beer.
So you'd go with a big, the big Yeti, and then you'd go with some ice. Well, you put two Coors in first, and then fill it with some ice, and then a heavy lime squeeze at the top. So we call those rodeo beers. So we have those in the
That
summer.
sounds good.
Yeah,
The can
refreshing.
reminds me. I wonder if it's even, or the bottle, I should say. Is it the same exact bottle as like a Red Stripe? That's what I was feeling.
I can't confirm that. It's a similar.
It's very similar, right? There's
Yeah,
only two that have that grenade style.
feel. I think that they've probably the originator of it. They've been around
Red
a long
Stripe.
time. I also think any time that you can write a Hollywood blockbuster starring Burt Reynolds around the trafficking of a beverage, that wins.
That's a win.
And so that's
right.
Coors is responsible for that as well.
He's
So there's a lot
thirsty.
there. He's thirsty, dummy. So there you have it. So that's good. Let me ask you this. How many minutes of content did we miss out on by you not watching it in real time? Because we absolutely would have done Yellowstone reviews.
A ton, but guess what?
Next what?
Season
now we're
5.
On. Season
we're
5.
on.
We're
Just
on it.
announced, and we're in, and away we go.
Yeah.
I'm very excited, and I think they did a good job of tying up. I won't give any spoilers. I thought they closed a lot of loopholes.
Yeah.
They closed a lot of tied up a bunch of loose ends, but they also left major plot lines open and barreling forward that are going to there is going to be some type of reckoning. They also fostered 2 shows. I mean, I've never seen a show birth 2 shows organically
While it was on the air?
in the middle of a show.
It felt forced to sometimes. The Sixes stuff was okay. The 1883 just popping up randomly was strange. But I don't think that's ever been accomplished. I don't think anybody has ever, while doing a show, launched 2 shows off the show.
Via the plot, yeah.
Via the plot, yeah.
Right.
I don't know if this has never happened. Like every once in a while you get a crossover,
Sure.
episode. Like you get Clooney showing up on Friends or whatever. Like
Or
those
BPA.
things happen, or the BPA when you show up. Similar.
Right.
But you rarely would get, usually that is a ratings boost. Rarely you try and launch 2 shows on a show, and that's what he did. He's got like 8 shows in motion.
The 4-6's show has not launched or has?
No, it hasn't even been shot. No.
Okay. And then the 1883
is playing
is
right now
playing
on
right.
like Paramount. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you partaking? Okay.
I mean, I may at some point, but it's, I have enough subscription services, and I'm like, am I adding another one?
I
need to
did the
add another
trial,
one?
and then I didn't get Yellowstone, so I've already canceled it.
Right, because like that's on there, and then there's another one about the prisoner that's on there that he did. So
I have to tell you, we did, Kayla and I. I don't know what this says about us, but we had to watch it through our YouTube TV. We didn't, because we hadn't recorded them as they were out. I always thought once I got this Paramount Plus,
you thought
app,
it would
I thought
all
it would
be
be
there.
all there. How could it not be?
Correct.
Because I know the reason it was on Peacock at first, all of that. So I thought, okay, we're getting that. Now we'll just be able to watch it without commercials. Watching that show with commercials is brutal.
I think watching anything with commercials other than the NFL is pretty brutal.
Yes,
and
we picked up each episode on Amazon Prime for $2.
I would have done the same thing. I wouldn't have tolerated it.
We didn't.
Yeah.
There was no. There
good
was
for
no
you.
tolerance.
I would have done the exact same thing. I would have
you.
done the exact same thing that you did on that.
Thank
front.
you.
What do we got going on in the sports world today? We're a couple of days closer to the Super Bowl, but other than that, we have some stuff here locally as well, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Browns defensive line coach Chris Kiffin is back, playing Eric Bischoff's music. He's back and better than ever. So Kiffin had a change of heart about his move to the collegiate ranks as the co-defensive coordinator, where he was joining his brother's staff, Lane Kiffin, at Ole Miss. Turns out they're not going to have to hire anybody to replace Kiffin here with the with the Browns, because he's back.
He's replacing himself.
He's back. Chris Kiffin. Continuity there. And so as of now, every position coach on both sides of the ball is back for the Cleveland Browns.
That's fantastic.
It is a wonderful thing. So, yeah.
It's a win. It's amazing. It's you're a little bit lucky about all of those things too. That another, from everybody's standpoint, but he comes back and so that's a win for everybody there, and some continuity on the staff. As you inch towards, I know we'll get into some of Goodell's stuff here in a little bit. You have the NBA trade deadline today. Let's play a little game amongst the three of us.
Yep.
Who do you think in sports media is most tied to the breaking of transactions. In all of sports media, who is most tied to the breaking? When you think of when transactions break, this reporter breaks them.
Across sports?
Across sports. Like, no, in their specific field, but you can pick whoever that would be in any sport. Who's most synonymous in sports with breaking stories in their field?
Woj.
Right? Okay.
First one.
Okay. So
are you going to bring up James Harden? I hope so, because this is...
Now you've wrecked it.
Oh,
I
sorry.
mean, there was going to be a real presentation here. Of course, I'm hard of bringing up James Harden and being a big B. Of course not.
No, it's great. I had it favorited. I was planning
Okay,
to talk
so
about it.
Woj bomb, right? So this morning, this is 4 hours ago.
Yeah. It's the most
4 hours ago.
It's the most absurd thing I've ever seen in
This
my
is
life.
the tweet. ESPN sources. Although Brooklyn Nets guard James Harden wants a trade to the Philadelphia 76ers, he has resisted making that formal request out of fear of the public backlash that would come from him asking out of a second franchise in consecutive years. Dummy. You've just done it.
Of course.
Boy.
It was the most...
Like, what are we doing? How do you even write the second part of that?
Dude, I
was dying when I saw that this morning.
I favorited that tweet immediately and started cackling laughing because you've told Woj. Not only does he want out of Brooklyn, he wants to go to the 76ers. I have figured out exactly what I'd like to do.
Yes.
But I'm not going to tell the Nets because of fear of the public backlash. So I'm going to tell
So
the one guy that everybody on NBA trade deadline day is watching his Twitter and refreshing his feed constantly, like
Yes.
the people that are the real NBA addicts.
That's right.
That's what they're doing.
That's right.
So that when this pops up, they see it.
Yep.
You've done it. That's more formal.
It's more formal.
And more public.
And more public than
Yes.
going to the Nets themselves.
That's right.
And saying, man, this ain't working. I'd
That's
love
right.
to go somewhere else. I know I don't even know how he does that because he's out of shape. He's had a groin injury for 6 years. He's just doesn't play randomly. That was the most just absurd. That's as absurd as any tweet I've seen in a while in terms of the mechanism of it. And thinking that this would be, who are your sources, Woj?
Don't you think Woj put that in there tongue in cheek to be like,
Has
this bozo thought that he was going to like just tell me this, have me put it out there? But Woj, just so you know, Woj, I'm only telling you because I'm afraid of the public backlash if I told the Nets formally. And Woj is like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So I'm going to have to put that into what I'm saying here so that everybody knows.
You got that clown doing whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
You got Kyrie who won't travel or he won't play home games?
No, it's not that he won't. He's not
can't.
allowed because he's not vaccinated, so he cannot play in New York.
He's afraid of certain things, and he likes to whine and complain. Got a lot of whiners, got a lot of complainers. You lead a pretty good life. Just throwing it out there.
Well, I think the best example of it is
no one likes me. I got to be popular.
Like he was in Houston with Chris Paul. By the way, Chris Paul playing at an MVP level with Phoenix.
Yeah.
And that didn't like that.
Nope, didn't like it.
So then put him like, what's something like about Brooklyn? Now, why wouldn't you like Brooklyn? So now we're going to go to Philly? Like if you were Philly, I don't know.
Just put him and Westbrook together in Sacramento and call it a day. And just leave them there.
Well, they were miserable. They played together with the Rockets.
Yeah. And the Thunder.
I don't think it's ever Westbrook. Yeah, long ago. I don't know if it's ever Westbrook's fault. I think he's probably got a pretty good attitude about him. Most times they asked him about being booed, and he's like, it's a badge of honor. Like, he was trying to make the best of it. He's clearly not the player he used to be by a wide margin. But, man, I thought that was one of the most absurd things I've seen.
You know what?
Tweet this morning.
When you do stupid things like that, you should just be sent to Sacramento. Go to basketball purgatory.
As we were, it's interesting you bring them up because they haven't made the playoffs in 15 years, and so they're doing all these just stupid trades, getting rid of the good players and stuff. And you watched the Cavs last night and how great they are. LeVert was great. Garland back, missed 12 of 15 for 27 points. I mean, they just look great. They're so much fun to watch, and they're real. They're legit. They're all of those things. You think about how fortunate you are and how hard it can be in that sport. Once you lose great players to try to build it again, you got to hit on 1,000 things.
Yeah.
You're banking on 19-year-olds and what they're going to be like when they're 22. You hope by the time they're 22, they still want to be there. And they've done it. Like they're in a situation for something that's very sustainable for a long time.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Let them know.
Do you guys think pop quiz, true or fact or fiction, true or false? LeBron James will only ever play for the Lakers going forward. Does he have one more jersey change in him, or is this it?
Oh yeah, depending on where Bronny goes, that's all. He's holding out for that.
Well, he's averaging like 29, 8, and 8, so he's still absurdly good. But do you think there's one more?
Yes.
By the way, I don't know that his kid is that level. I don't think Bronny's on that level.
It could be Cleveland.
No.
Well, it could be. I think it's only L.A. or Cleveland.
Same.
And I think the only thing he risks if he were ever to try and leave L.A. is like he's going to live the rest of his life there. I don't know. Like they ain't going to. The Lakers are L.A. And if all of a sudden you won one bubble title and then you bounce, I don't know that's and you leave it in a mess, which is what it is now.
I don't think they forgive for that. He could only go to Cleveland and have like a chance of them he's going back home to finish his career where he started it.
Yeah. That's really the only spot. Yeah.
He's not a good GM. Let's just be not.
I mean, the places are left in ruins because of what he forces on management. But the one thing the Lakers are doing that's pretty smart is like Pelinka's saying that it's public that he is making these decisions with LeBron, the GM of the Lakers. Like they're putting it out there. Like you wanted this.
What I don't understand is he's so his floor game. He plays basketball the right way. He's incredibly smart on the court in terms of the way that he plays. But from a general manager standpoint, he doesn't understand. It feels like that he needs to surround himself with shooters, not other ball dominant non-shooters.
No, I mean,
and I don't get
clearly,
that.
I don't either. Like, obviously, Buddy Hield would have made way more sense than Russell Westbrook.
And they could have had him.
And he wanted Westbrook instead. So, yeah. I don't know. Fascinating stuff. Super Bowl getting closer. The state of the state yesterday from the NFL. Raj weighing in on several things. Yes, Mr. Zegura.
Let me make sure this is the verified. It is. Shams reporting breaking.
Oh, Woj, too, with this one.
The Brooklyn Nets and Philadelphia 76ers are finalizing a trade sending James Harden for Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, and draft picks, sources tell The Athletic. And Woj saying the same thing at the same time. There it is. Oh, wait, he has Andre Drummond in it as well. Here we go. Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and 2 1s just for James Harden?
Seems like a big overpay for me if I'm Philly.
Wow. Just wanting to get rid of
like
Ben
Seth Curry's
Simmons
really
that
nice.
bad.
And they play.
Hold on. Paul Millsap, too. Paul Millsap's going from the Nets side of it. Sorry. So Harden and Millsap. Millsap was such a solid player for a long time.
He was, yeah.
Millsap and Harden.
I guess it would depend on what you think you're going to get out of Harden at this point. Like, he hasn't been good in a while.
So they think that he's going to give the perimeter game to complement Embiid, who's playing at an
MVP level. Yeah. So they'll go pick and roll. It'll be the two of them in pick and roll all the time.
And they will. And on the other side, the Nets are thinking Simmons will want to play and will.
Ben Simmons hasn't played since June,
but he can penetrate. You got Durant, Kyrie. You have 2 shooters with him.
Well, they'll be really good defensively too. They'll be able to switch everything, so that'll be helpful. And Seth Curry's pretty good.
He can shoot it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Oh, this is exciting.
That's pretty good though. Kyrie, Durant, Curry with 3 like shooters.
Well, if they could all be healthy, though.
Right.
I mean, if you're the Nets, what you're banking on is that Simmons will play with Kyrie for the next 5 or 6 years because Durant obviously is breaking down. I mean, he hasn't played full season in a while.
True.
So, I think that's what you're banking on. This is happening currently out in Los Angeles at the Super Bowl. It is the Super Bowl halftime media day.
Oh, my God. This concert's going to be outrageous.
Dre, our guy Nate Burleson's up there, Mary J. Oh, that's great. That's so cool.
He said that he has manifested, he being Dr. Dre, a Rams Super Bowl win. So,
well, he would be a Raiders fan anyway. Do you
look at him?
There he is. What do you open with if you're them? What's the first beat? Is it California Love?
It's got to be, right? It's in California. I feel like it's got to be.
Gibby was giving me sign language.
What are you saying, Gibby?
What are the
Might
options?
as well just take it to 23, and we'll stack to the half.
All right, we'll get to all this NFL stuff because there's some interesting NFL stuff here. So is it California Love? What are the other options? I mean, all the rest of the Dre stuff and the Snoop stuff.
I think that's got to be the first one. I mean,
it's California Love.
Yeah,
It's got to be.
It's got to be.
Right?
And then you can
'Cause you
get,
hear
then you
that
can go
and
anywhere.
Then you can do anything you want.
California knows
Yeah.
how to party.
It does. Yeah. Mary J in the mix.
This is going to be this.
I cannot wait for halftime.
Yeah.
This should be based on, for me
oh my God,
personally.
you have Eminem too and all of his
Yes!
catalog. Holy cow.
This should,
do you think he does Lose Yourself?
of course. That was the other one that I thought that could potentially kick it off, but I think it's got to kick off with California. You're in California. Let's acknowledge that.
And then, so you need an opener and you need a closer.
yeah.
So what's the end?
It's going to be some kind of a medley of everything, and Tupac will be involved.
Well, he's got to be involved in California Love, unless someone else is going to do that part.
They
Who's
could
doing
have
that
him
part?
going
Or
there.
they go hologram?
See, I think they hologram. Don't you think they save him for the finales, or maybe they end with that with him as a hologram? I think that's going to end with some type of a medley that's going to be all these guys doing crazy stuff back to back. That's all just glorious.
Yeah.
It's going to be. This should be, if they deliver 75% of my expectations, it will be my favorite halftime show ever by a wide margin.
Prince is the current standard bearer if you take the emotional connection with U2 out.
Sure, but I'm talking pure, like, for us. I mean, this is like the music of our lives.
Prince was not the music of my youth.
No.
It was more of an appreciation afterwards. No, this is probably the first one where it was like, this is the music that in part defined my youth
Yes.
being played.
Yes.
You know, like Pearl Jam isn't
No.
performing at Super Bowl halftime. So, you know, this would be those would be the two.
Does someone show up?
What if Pearl Jam shows up and they
No,
and
no,
instead of doing
come
Jeremy,
out.
they
I mean,
turn
that's-
Jeremy into Joe Burrow,
I mean,
and they just
usually
every time
you
they say
get-
Joe
Jeremy,
is
that's
spoken.
yeah.
Usually you get some kind of
Surprise.
artist surprise. I don't
Well,
know if
they-
you need one with
you
all
really
these people,
don't.
but
Because you got Kendrick and Eminem, Snoop and Dre, and Mary J. And then what is Dre's involvement in all of it? You know, because obviously he's producing it. So what does all that look like? Pretty good. It's going to be a good one.
I wonder if you
Yeah,
got a
this is-
Tupac and a Biggie hologram together.
No. Biggie's not showing up. They do that.
New
When
York.
Diddy puts together
the East Coast.
the East Coast version of this, then you can
They should do
Biggie.
that next year. Where's the Super Bowl next year?
It's all out west, isn't it? Vegas next
Is it
year?
next year? Are they doing Vegas?
Well, that would be a very
Stand by.
apropos place.
Yeah, sadly.
Sadly, that's right. It's Vegas, Phoenix, or like the next two. I think it's a wild.
Vegas is going to be
It is Arizona next year.
Yeah.
okay,
And then
then
Vegas the year after.
Vegas is going to be a wild card Super Bowl. That's going to be pretty wild.
I'm not sure that's a good idea.
a friend of mine was there last weekend for the Pro Bowl and the NHL All-Star game, and she said that it was ridiculous. And that was for the Pro Bowl and the NHL All-Star game. So you're talking about a Super Bowl, and you've heard the stories about like NBA All-Star weekend there. That's going to be a scene, man.
I was at ESPN Cleveland. No names, please. We sent a few of our guys out to cover it. at
The All-Star
time.
game
Yep.
in Vegas,
Now,
yeah.
Everybody came back except him, and he didn't come back for 5 days. No names, please. If he's listening, he knows who he is.
He knows who he is. Do we have the Hoff next?
We
Oh,
do.
yes.
The Hoff.
The
coming up
Hoff!
next.
On the ground.
Oh my
in
gosh!
Los Angeles.
Our roving reporter, our official Super Bowl correspondent, Joe Thomas, will join us next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Rumpke Waste Recycling, family-owned and operated. Whether you join them as a customer or as an employee, you'll become part of the family. Visit rumpke.com to learn more. Some news out of the NBA breaking here in the last 15 minutes. The James Harden-Ben Simmons deal is done. So Harden will go to the Sixers. Simmons goes to the Nets, along with Seth Curry. Andre Drummond going to the Nets as well. Was he there? No, they had DeAndre Jordan. Drummond was with the Lakers. He's bounced around a little bit. And then Millsap to the Sixers. But a sign that the Sixers they must think that that's the difference, that'll put them over the top. They haven't won a title since '83.
Sixers odds to win the championship have gone from plus 1,300 to plus 700.
I don't
see it. I mean, I don't see it. I mean,
I don't think that guy is.
And I think it's something that's hard to do in the regular. He's 31. It's something that's hard to do in the regular season when he was at his prime. But if you think back even to Houston, like when he got to the postseason, they ran out of gas all the time.
Chemistry killer.
Well, right, and he's ball dominant, and he just dribbles forever, And now they don't call all that stuff anymore with remember you always get that lean in nonsense, which was awful.
Yes,
they don't call that stuff as much anymore.
No,
so yeah, I mean, I understand you got to get off of Simmons. That's fine, but I don't know that this is. The only hope you have is that he was with Daryl Morey in Houston and Morey's with Philly now, and that would maybe that'll work. If he was at his best, him and Embiid would be a problem.
Yeah.
That would be a problem.
Embiid's playing as well as anybody in the league right now.
He's probably the MVP right now, isn't he?
Oh, boy. I like it.
Yeah. So there you go on that front. The Hoff will join us here momentarily from Los Angeles. We do have the Hoff. Let's go out to L.A. Time to head out on the hotline for a visit with our Los Angeles Super Bowl Bureau Chief, Joe the Hoff Thomas. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. That's the most important title I've ever had, so I will cherish it and treat it with the respect it deserves.
Hoff, take our listeners, the millions and millions around the world, and Z and I, take us into the mind of a Hoff landing in L.A. and the world of opportunity that's in front of you. Where's your head at, buddy?
Yeah, my head is right now going, oh, my gosh, it's 80 degrees right now. This is amazing because I just left a snowstorm in Wisconsin, and the world is your oyster when you land, and there's palm trees everywhere. It's going to be an amazing week, and hopefully it's topped off with an incredible game on Sunday night.
We certainly hope it is as well. 80 degrees. We've heard some stories about the traffic, Hoff, so we hope you're able to navigate that successfully. But tell us, what do you got lined up? I mean, it's been a while since I've been at a Super Bowl week, and California has more restrictions. But, boy, there are an awful lot of social opportunities. There are a lot of business opportunities. There's a lot of pure joy, fun, and frivolity to be had. What is on your docket right now?
It's so funny that you said the traffic because I feel like I'm that Progressive commercial that like you're turning into your parents because every conversation I've had with my friends about the Super Bowl and what we're going to do when we're out here is like, oh, well, but what about the traffic? Are we going to be able to make it? I'm so worried about the traffic.
You are. When I texted you, the first thing you said back is, I hope their traffic's not too bad.
Yes. Oh, it's pathetic. I feel so sad. I'm actually looking at the Hollywood sign right now. I just got to my hotel, and there's all sorts of great opportunities. Obviously, the first thing that a few carnivores like us think about when you get out to California and LA specifically is let's get some good eats in, right? Because this place just has an unbelievable amount of great restaurants. My sports agency, my media agency, they rented out all of Catch LA, which is like kind of up in the Hollywood Hills.
Oh boy!
And they've got like the top level, and we're doing like a big cocktail hors d'oeuvres reception on Saturday night. So I'm looking forward to that because you always got to get some good seafood when you get out to the West Coast. I'm going to hang out with Alex Mack. He's a Cali boy. He's out here after his disappointing exit from the conference championship game.
Yes.
He lives down in like that South Bay Beach area community. So we're going to get together with him and his wife and my wife and some other friends. And then it's, one party after the other. I guess what else does an old man like me do? Probably go to bed at 10 o'clock and pretend that he's partying like he did when he was 27.
Yeah, Hoff, I was curious, because there really are two different – you can have whatever experience you want. Like, if you remember the 90s film Swingers, where they all have their own cars and they just drive around parties in the Hollywood Hills, like I could see a young Hoff bouncing around and doing that and just driving around to well, obviously you'd be Ubering now, but Ubering around to parties in the Hollywood Hills. But you brought Mrs. Hoff, so that this opens up, and of course, a little bit of an elevated age. This opens up a different type of party, a luxury now type of parties that are available for the Hoff. Oh, for sure.
Yes. Yeah, well, the 26-year-old version of me would be looking to break his way into all the high-end parties, enjoying himself. I think what I'm looking most forward to is a couple really nice meals on the beach, some drinks, maybe find a party that features cigars and some lower music, maybe not too loud, don't want to hurt my ears. So it's definitely turning into a different experience for myself as I've gotten up there in my age a little bit.
I'm sure you can find the world is your oyster out there, Hoff. It's going to be pure joy, whatever. And maybe you switch it up. Maybe, one night we go crazy, throwback, young Hoff. Then we go refined, sophisticated Hoff. I mean, it's all out there for you in L.A. One thing we were talking about before this is the halftime show. They're having their press junket right now. We're fired up for it. You are younger than us, but is this a concert, a halftime show with Dre and Snoop and Eminem and Kendrick Lamar, Mary J. Blige? Is this one that you have great anticipation for?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm just a little bit younger than you guys, but still, those were sort of like the guys that were playing the soundtrack of my sports youth, right? Like I didn't grow up a huge hip hop fan, but obviously those guys were enormous stars. You heard their music everywhere. Your buddies were banging their heads to it in their car, and so it'll be really cool hearing them because they kind of transformed to from just hip hop to mainstream to pop. Now they're like the classic hip hop, which is so funny because now I'm starting to get my kids to listen to some of their stuff. Obviously the stuff that doesn't have the bad lyrics, but
it's hard.
Awesome,
clean radio edit.
It's a little tough. It's the radio edit version, but it is pretty cool because it does bring back a lot of those memories from when I was a kid, when I was in college. And I think it's awesome that the Super Bowl is bringing them all in, especially being in California where, so many of those great West Coast hip hop people started. So I think it's going to be a really cool show, like it always is. But somebody was saying, the crazy price of the Super Bowl tickets, and I'm like, you'd pay that much for a concert to see these people if they were all there, and you get a football game on top of it. So it's pretty special. I think it's going to be one of the better halftime performances that we've heard in a long time.
Now, Hoff, are you going to the game itself?
It's up in I'll be there. I don't know where I'm going to be exactly because I'm doing the post-game show for NFL Network. So I'm not sure if they're going to have us in the NFL Network studios, which is, I guess, right next to the stadium where we can watch in the green room, or if they're going to have us watching in the stadium. I'm not exactly sure. I would love to be at the game because I've only been to one Super Bowl before, the one that the Chiefs won, which was really cool. But when you're doing a post-game show, you miss so much if you're watching from the stands because you're not able to get all the different camera angles and you're not involved in the dialogue of the little details and the things that are happening throughout the game that the fans that have been watching on TV are going to want you to speak to on that post-game show. So part of me is hopeful that I can just kind of be in that green room with Irv and Steve Smith and Colleen, and we can kind of watch the game, make sure we're dialed in so we can have a really fun post-game show.
Is he? Are you aware of the Irv story that we became aware? Go ahead. I
didn't know if you were going to bring it up. So
that is not a clean version.
No. This is a totally
different Irv story.
Totally
this has
different.
Nothing to do with. No, nothing like that.
Play the clip. Paulus can. I don't know if you want to play the clip.
Well, does the clip? No.
This is the story we found yesterday.
The story we found yesterday that we were unaware of completely.
Never heard of it
until yesterday. And Z and I have been in this business for 20 years. I'd never heard this story, and I was shocked about it. Go ahead, Z.
All right, Huff. So we're going through. We were talking about Irv because what was the clip that what was he on?
He was talking about Tom Brady and why Tom Brady's coming back.
Oh, how Tom Brady's not retiring, and so we go and we look. We were just looking up some Irv stuff. So I go on his Wikipedia page, and as I'm scrolling through, and they've got all of his accomplishments, because I was actually going to look to see if he went to ESPN.
Yeah,
first.
we were worried about his media career.
Yeah, what his media career
we
flow
so
was.
love the show that you
Yes.
do with him and Steve, and we think it's the best NFL
It
show
is.
on television. And so we were like, well, how did Irv get there? What did it get
Yeah.
to? And then this leads to this gem that we unearthed.
So
Go ahead.
have you ever heard of anything as it relates to Irv called Scissorgate?
Scissorgate?
That's right.
No.
That's right. Scissors.
I was making sure I heard you correctly because this is very curious. You piqued my curiosity.
Oh,
I bet. Well, when I saw Scissorgate, I also was curious. It turned out to be significantly different than I had even hoped it would be. I'm just going to read this to you. This is from Wikipedia, but it links to directly, because they have the citations, a New York Times article that corroborates what I'm about to say out loud.
Oh, my goodness.
On July 29th, 1998, Irv allegedly assaulted a fellow Cowboys offensive lineman named Everett McIver. The initial dispute stemmed from Irvin demanding that McIver vacate a barber's chair so that Irvin would not have to wait for a haircut. McIver and Irvin soon began a brawl in the shop, with fellow Cowboy Leon Lett attempting to break it up. During the course of the dispute, Irvin grabbed a pair of scissors, hence the name Scissorgate, and here's where it gets off the rails in one sentence, and stabbed McIver in the neck, barely missing his carotid artery. It was then reported that Jerry Jones immediately brokered a 6-figure settlement between Irvin and McIver in exchange for McIver's silence and to prevent McIver from pursuing criminal charges against Irvin.
Have you
I
ever
think
heard
we have
that?
the A block for the postgame show after the Super Bowl's over.
You did hear from us.
I mean, that's like some type of like crazy movie plot right there, where all of a sudden Jerry Jones swoops in out of nowhere and brokers this huge cash sum where it's all paid in cash under the table, so the IRS knows nothing about it, and the Dallas media never finds out. I mean, how beautiful is that?
He allegedly stabbed a man in the throat, Toff. Like, that's attempted murder, for God's sakes.
Like,
what
are barber scissors?
Barber scissors to the thorax.
Shears.
Yes, and like barber scissors, we're not talking about like a regular long like kitchen scissors. Like the barber scissors are like 1.5 inches long. So like he must have really been coming in like he was holding it like brass knuckles. And just amazing. The cinematic could be fantastic if this becomes a true to life like documentary movie.
Well, we were just saying if that had happened today,
yes,
it's over, right? I mean,
for
it's just
sure.
It's social media. There's going to be video. There's going to be it's over, and those are the good old days when Jerry Jones could swoop in with his bags full of money and say, "We're going to make this go away, teammates."
All quiet.
Everett McIver.
Can you imagine the images from cell phones?
Oh my God! It's just
of a bloody McIver bleeding from his thorax
with scissors still in his neck.
Jeez. So
yes, do they have to do surgery to remove the scissors?
There's so many questions.
There's so many. Maybe
questions.
you can get answers for us, Hoff, on Scissorsgate with Irv this weekend. I did hear that so you've been out there for a game, and 87 is the temp on Sunday.
It's going to be hot.
Yeah.
And I've heard that thing's like an incubator. Like, is that going to be a factor here?
Yes.
I think it could be.
Big news, and actually for the betting public, I would skew now a little bit towards the Cincinnati Bengals because, the storyline that everybody's been talking about all week is Aaron Donald, Von Miller. How does Cincinnati Bengals offensive line somehow block those guys long enough for Burrow to throw the ball, right? Because we've seen it over and over and over again in Super Bowls where you have these teams that come in, these great quarterbacks, but when you have that pass rush, they ruin the game. I mean, just a couple years ago, that's why the Chiefs ended up going out and spending a ton of money in free agency on their offensive line because Patrick Mahomes had no time to throw the football. And that's the obvious, hey, if it goes sideways for the Bengals, it's because of the pass rush. Well, here comes Mr. Heat Wave coming into the stadium. That is the ultimate neutralizer of pass rushes, playing fast. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the Bengals go, hey, especially early on in this game, let's get into some quick game, but let's do it out of no huddle. Let's try to get Aaron Donald and Von Miller are a little bit tired, especially early on in the game. It's going to be hot. They're not used to it. Nobody's used to it at this point in the season. Wear them out a little bit, and then as soon as they go to the sideline to take a little break, now you can kind of attack them down the field a little bit with some of your shots to Jamar Chase and some of your studs on the outside. So to me, that was something that really made me excited because I'm sort of biased, homering a little bit for the Bengals. They've captivated my heart just like a lot of people in America. But don't worry, Browns fans, I'm not cheering for him next year. But right now I could be a Joe Burrow fan. I could be cheering for our little brother down there in Cincinnati. And I was pretty excited to hear that and start thinking about what the possibilities are with a defensive line for the Rams that is getting tired, that does have to sub more, and giving the Bengals an opportunity to get to some of their shot plays on Zach Taylor's call sheet when those guys do get a little bit fatigued and are out of the game.
Huff, has there been a group that feels more likable and cool and than this Bengals team led by Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, and you think of their dads with the Stoke? It doesn't feel like anybody. Normally when you're the young upstart, everybody's like, screw that guy, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, but
You haven't done anything.
Everybody loves Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I mean, it is. He's got a magnetic personality, right? He is authentic. He's cool. He's calm. He's very comfortable with himself and like the little bit of quirkiness that he has. And then, you know, when you do great things on the field, people love that, right? And then they fall in love with like your quirks. When you play bad on the field and you're quirky, they hate your quirks. It's, you know, it's like everything in life.
Yes.
But with Joe Burrow, like him, there's a magnetism towards him, especially the way he has played throughout the season. The way, I think a big thing too is, I mean, as much as he's been getting hammered in the playoffs, getting sacked 9 times in one game, he's never pointed the finger at anybody else. And I think people that love the game of football, like that's what they love in their leader. And they want a guy that's always saying we, not me, when things are good, and I, not you, when things are bad. And that's exactly who Joe Burrow is as a leader and as a person. And then I think some of the cigar and the chain and all those things just kind of add to it. And then coming back the way they did against the Chiefs when they were down 21-3 and beating Patrick Mahomes. And for a franchise that's never won a Super Bowl, I think it's always easy if you don't have a dog in the fight in the Super Bowl. You always kind of want to skew towards the underdog. At least I do. At least a lot of people that I know. I don't know why, some human psychological reason, but certainly with the Bengals, they've been the underdog throughout the playoffs. Joe Burrow kind of overcoming a lot of things, including ACL tear from last season. And they're just a very likable bunch. And I think a lot of people in the country would like to see them win a Super Bowl. And it's not like they're playing the Patriots. Like when the Patriots win the Super Bowl, we all cheered against the Patriots. Didn't matter who they're playing. The Rams are actually a pretty likable team too with Matthew Stafford and his story. But I just think that the Bengals and Joe Burrow are just a little bit more likable right now.
Yeah, I agree. There's no villain here. Like
no, it's a great outcome. Whoever wins this Super Bowl, the quarterback, it's going to obviously be his first Super Bowl. They're both guys that you would root for to get to have that moment. Stafford from what he's endured, and then Burrow, you know, just his meteoric rise, what he's accomplished, become the first ever, as you've talked about many, many times, to win the Heisman, win a college championship, be the #1 overall pick, and then win a Super Bowl. I mean, it's pretty cool. This is a cool game.
Yeah, it is. Huff, you are not a man who is starstruck often. You were on a television show with The Rock, of course.
And The Rock was starstruck.
And The Rock was starstruck of you, in awe of you, is the way that what I saw, certainly, and I'm sure what you witnessed as you were the man in the arena.
Of course.
Is there somebody out there, because, I mean, this is La La Land. This is the home of the stars. Is there somebody out there that you would cross path with at one of these highfalutin functions you'll be at that you would be in awe of?
You know, it's kind of funny. It's weird to say, but I was a huge Packer fan growing up, right? Growing up in Wisconsin. Brett Favre, he was a god, winning the Super Bowl when I was, 14 years old or 12 years old. So I was like peak of sports fandom. I was bananas nuts. When they won the Super Bowl, it was like 10 below zero in Brookfield, Wisconsin, where I lived. I ran outside, took my shirt off, and ran around the neighborhood. I was so excited. And so he was like the hero to end all heroes for me. And I got to go to a coin flip when he was playing for the Jets when we played him. I think it was maybe preseason. It was meaningless. But he was out there as a captain, and I got to meet him, and that was like one of the coolest moments of my life. And now, like since then, I don't want to say that nothing will compare to that like feeling and that emotion, but I don't have that that nervousness or like excitement as much as I used to. And it's funny that you just said that. I went to a show last night because I was in Wisconsin. I was in Madison. Have you guys ever heard of the SmartLess podcast?
No,
It's like Jason Bateman and
okay.
Will Arnett and another guy.
Okay. I need to.
My wife was like, "Hey, for Valentine's Day, since we're going to be in California, let's go to the show." She's like, "I love this podcast." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And they always have a special guest, and she's a huge fan of the show, and she's a fan of these guys.
Oh wow!
And I don't watch as much of their stuff as she does. I don't consume it as much entertainment that does not relate to football. Maybe that's a downside of my personality, but they always have a guest. And believe it or not, Tuesday night in Madison, Wisconsin, we're at this little theater, and they bring out Matt Damon on the stage. Not like fake Matt Damon, like real Matt Damon, like one of the biggest movie stars of all time. My wife's going bonkers. She's like, "I can't believe it's Matt Damon. This is unbelievable." And I'm like, "That's really cool." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, he's in so many great movies." And she started naming them, and I was like so ashamed. But like, we didn't watch a lot of movies growing up, and I was like, I've seen almost none of those movies. I know absolutely that Matt Damon is an enormous star, and I've heard of all those movies, but I'm so ashamed to even tell my wife that I haven't seen like Good Will Hunting and like The Martian, and I'm even ashamed to say it right now.
That's awesome.
So
you were busy being a Hoff.
You're running around with your shirt off.
Yeah, so I'll be at these highfalutin cigar parties with Matt Damon, and won't even recognize it. So maybe I don't deserve it.
I mean, I just kind of think, first of all, that is beautiful. Yeah. Maybe you'll run into Favre. Maybe you guys will share a moment in, at this point now as go a future Hoff, all of that, which will be beautiful. But, I mean, for the guys in the world right now, like to have The Rock follows the Hoff on Twitter, autograph the picture making googly eyes at the Hoff.
At the Hoff, yeah.
Not the other way around.
Not the other way around.
Right.
The only chance that I thought maybe is this, there was some crush that you had when you were a kid that you could run into that maybe that maybe there's an opportunity for you to be starstruck.
Yeah.
Tiffany Amber Thiessen for the Hoff.
Yeah, I'm terrible with remembering names, but who's the gal that married Justin Verlander?
Oh,
Kate Upton.
Kate Upton.
Yep.
Yeah.
She was a big crush. That was like college, early NFL days. But
that's possible.
That's possible.
That's really in play this weekend. That's in
no
play.
doubt that's in play.
She was the first one that I thought of, but I actually got to meet her in Cleveland because I figured I was there for a Browns game, and I want to say the Indians were playing Detroit or something like that, and we were just hanging out at the Ritz in Cleveland at the bar, like after the game. And she walked in with Verlander and like a couple of her friends and sat right down next to us. And we drank for like 2 hours. I'm not going to say that we were drinking together, but I was definitely like sipping my martini and looking over there like, you look pretty good still.
Still got it.
Oh, that's beautiful. Hoff, enjoy it, buddy. Thank you so much for your time.
From the fountain of life, Hoff, for all of us.
Drink it up.
Oh, thank you guys for having me on. I'll definitely be sending you some pictures of maybe some high school crushes and some good sushi.
And watch out for scissors.
I love that. The sushi and crushes. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Appreciate you, buddy.
Yes. Thanks, guys.
Oh, that is great. Who would be yours?
Stop.
What would
Let's
be
just
yours?
Walk out.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Next level's next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. How much you're going to wager or how long you'll play is like a football team going into a game without a game plan. It's probably going to end up in a loss. So always set limits before you bet. Get more tips like this at keepitfunohio.com. Get to Jordan Reed's mock draft in just a second, but also around the league. Roger Goodell with his State of the League press conference yesterday. Just from a big picture perspective, I guess let me just separate for a second. Is the NFL too big to fail?
Nothing's too big to fail. Was Rome too big to fail?
Yeah, it took centuries, though. Like,
But it
this
did.
won't happen in our lifetime.
I mean, every hegemon collapses
Yeah.
in human history.
Right.
This is
I guess I asked because he has this press conference yesterday where he talks about, like, Dan Snyder at the beginning of the day says, we're going to launch our own investigation. Goodell goes, actually, we're going to do it. But the problem is like they've already done this and they didn't make the findings public, right?
correct.
So they'll do it again. They won't make the findings public. Okay, they fine him again, whatever. Like, nothing of consequence is going to happen to Dan Snyder. He's also got this Flores lawsuit that he's dealing with Stephen Ross. So all of these things are happening, but it feels like once the dust settles, nothing really is going to change with it. Like,
I think
agreed.
You're one bad lockout away, but that's in 9-10 years from now. And who knows? I mean, the last couple lockouts we thought were going to be big, and they were settled before the deadline.
yeah, and I think there's two things at the NFL, which is there are so many things that have led to this point. You know, the fact that the at-home experience, this is a television sport. Football is a television sport. It owns, as a sport, Saturdays and Sundays for 5 months, owns it. Right? So you own 2 days a week for 5 months. There's nothing else that's like that. You have the perfect feeder system in college football where stars are made and drafted in, ready-made, ready to go.
Yep.
The quality of television that is now affordable has never been better or more affordable. Sports talk radio, it's the perfect sport for sports talk radio as that is lifted, and now even onto podcasts where it's one game a week. Everybody watches it, so everybody can talk about it. Fantasy football, the rise of that. So it all gets to this point where you have 93 of the top 100 shows this fall were NFL games.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, and this is why I asked the question, they really haven't opened the spigot all the way yet. We still don't have full gambling in every state, which that is going to be a flood of financial cash coming in.
Yeah.
And you still haven't opened up to streaming. Like, you still haven't had Apple bid against Google for NFL games. That hasn't happened. Amazon's in.
Oh, the NFL's not failing anytime soon. It's a juggernaut.
No, I know.
Is
And
the
it's
number
and
one
there's still
property,
two monster spigots
period. Yeah.
that are to be undone, that once they are, it's even more so.
Yeah. And it's not stopping. And then,
No.
Piggyback on the spigot, when you're talking about the gambling one, that's going to come in terms of they just want content, right? So you're going to have all kinds of naming rights. You're going to have, a show like this, for example, would certainly fall into their purview of something from sponsorships that you have those dollars. Then you're talking about the next iteration, which is in your seat, your console at every stadium in the country, live betting every single play that's going on right in front of you, and all the just incremental dollars and dollars and dollars that's going to bring. It's out of control. It's a black hole in a sense that it's going to dwarf everything else. It has the power to suck everything else in. I mean, it is as big as it gets in the entertainment world right now. It's the National Football League. It's the only thing that people feel compelled. Sports in general, but when you look at what the ratings are for the NBA, and we love the association, the Cavs are great right now, which is super fun. Football dwarfs it.
Oh, yeah, it annihilates it. And the fact that it's minor league is second.
Right.
Like your minor league is the second most popular and most lucrative. Right. And it has all those spigots that it can turn on too. So as you're listening Goodell talk about these things yesterday with it's like a month from now, no one's going to care about any of this. Like, it's just going to go away, and there's no reason to hold feet to the fire on it. The league will expand its international series, so there will be games in Germany for the next 4 years. 1 game in Germany, 3 in England, 1 in Mexico City, and so that effort to go over there. I don't know if it will ever mean that there will ever be a team over there. If that'll happen, it doesn't. It felt like for a while it was close with Jacksonville. and then that stopped. And he tried buying Khan tried buying Wembley, and then that fell through, and so there was really no push to get a team to England. And I think the logistics of it are still
too much
to overcome.
Yes.
You'd need almost 2 teams over there, and
you'd have to come you'd probably come here for like 3 weeks at a time or something.
You'd have to, yeah.
Which would be. It just doesn't feel like it's a competitive environment for that franchise to operate within.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think the other thing that's kind of strange about the NFL is while it is popular around the world, it is not nearly as popular as, say, the NBA is around the rest of the world. It's not like football leagues are popping up throughout Europe. That hasn't happened. They're going to play a game in Mexico City. There's no Mexican football of note, grassroots organization for that. So it really is a sport that is all ours more than the others. It's a little interesting as they've been playing over there since the mid-'80s. They've been playing in Europe. Goodell also said he expects L.A. to be a regular Super Bowl stop. The next opportunity to be 2026. Do you think you will ever see a situation where a Super Bowl is in the northern part of our country again?
I just don't think you need to. I mean, I think Minnesota. People said Minnesota was great.
Indy was good.
If Chicago builds an awesome dome, you think they're not going to want to show that off in a Super Bowl? So I think, I do think there will be. There's no need for it, though, unless it's under a special circumstance, a new stadium. That's typically part of a new stadium.
Right. Incentivization deal where you, build it and we'll put a Super Bowl there. Still remarkable. The Super Bowl was in Detroit.
I went up to that one.
Did you go to that one?
Yeah.
That's remarkable when you think about it.
Seahawks.
Steelers.
Fast Willie Parker had at that point, I think it was the longest run in Super Bowl history, right? Breaking.
I have no recollection of that game.
Darrell Jackson caught a touchdown early in the game, was called for offensive pass interference on one of the most innocuous things ever, and that just totally changed momentum. I think you also had Antoine Randall or Hines Ward, one of them, threw a pass that was a big play. Jeremy Stevens, the tight end for the Seahawks, dropped a critical pass, and the Steelers won. But it was Willie Parker had a big run in that one.
That was a peak Sean Alexander time with the Seahawks, with Matt Hasselbeck and those guys.
I think Willie Parker, it fills in Super Bowl run. 75-yard touchdown run.
Isn't that something? Yeah, it's one of that was Cowher's last one there, right? Or his only one there was that one, and then he was done shortly thereafter. It's hard to imagine. So I think you're going to get a steady diet of L.A., Vegas, Scottsdale, Miami, Atlanta. I don't know if you want to add Tampa in the mix as well, but I think that'll be the steady diet of those will be where the Super Bowl is for a while going forward, and L.A. will be a regular fixture of that. I'm going to tell you what, though. If they have 87 Sunday, which is what it's calling for, that could be miserable based on what I've heard from people who have been at that stadium, that it's a greenhouse effect.
Well, it's like a concrete tarp over it.
And there's no breeze there.
You're not, because the breeze
in Santa
is
Monica,
high and you're
down.
You're set down into the ground, into the earth.
That could be a cooker.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might not be as popular.
Have we heard anything about that, though, from a September game? There's no doubt there was a hot September game in that stadium.
Well, I think it's pretty wild that it's 87 in L.A. in February. I've been in L.A. all sorts of times a year.
It's not here.
I don't recall 87 in Los Angeles in February. That would seem to be a record high situation. High. That seems absurdly extreme on that front.
Agreed.
We had talked about this a little bit yesterday. ESPN has expanded its agreement with Peyton and Eli Manning and Monday Night Football with those guys going through the 2024 season. So that would take Peyton out of anything with Al Michaels. And it's not just this. It's UFC. It's golf. It's was it one other thing? There's another college football that they're going to try and do a Manning cast version with different people are going to be involved in this. But there's no way. I don't see any scenario where Al Michaels is going to go to ESPN and do Monday Night Football and have to compete on his own network.
Let me tell you something.
Please.
This surprised me. I thought that Amazon would make some type of monster push at him. But good for them. You mentioned golf. I don't think right now that there is a property out there that is more desperate for a Manning cast style thing than golf.
You have to get the right people.
Of course, and that won't be easy.
Phil would have to be involved.
Nance and Faldo are incredible together.
Yeah, but it's stodgy, it's buttoned up.
Let's let loose and have players who are talking about what's going on take you through their mind, maybe even get some mics in there, like open it up a little bit. There are great personalities there, but golf is a game that we all can relate on. And here's the other part. Golf is the ultimate betting game.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
And if you could start incorporating that, like there's enough time between shots. Oh, I think he's going to hit it. Two guys are in the middle of the fairway. I got so-and-so to hit it closer than you. You could have all this stuff incorporated into a cast and their cast links to a certain betting service, and that's where all these props that they come up with on the fly are on there. Like, it would be amazing.
Even just me and buddies, or even like with father-in-law, anybody watching like majors.
Yeah.
Like, we're betting on or off.
Yes.
On or off.
Easy.
Every time. On or off.
On.
Right. I mean, that's what you do. That's the beauty of it. So, yeah. I think that's interesting. I think if they are serious about it, though, the two of them either have to be in the same place or they have to have a professional setup.
Yeah, let's get it.
We can't be talking over each other. And I think the other thing you'd say is they let's remember the game is going on, and we don't have to answer our pre-planned, pre-joke questions to every guest to talk about, the self-deprecating stuff with Peyton, like he's always sucks. Like, how hard was it to coach Peyton, Bill, in the All-Pro Bowl game? Bill Cowher. Oh, okay.
Great.
Yeah. Everybody knows Manning was the ultimate professional.
Where are they geographically located?
Peyton's in Denver, and Eli's in Jersey.
Eli, come on out to Denver. The water's warm.
Yeah, they both. It's interesting. I mean, Eli's staying in Jersey, and where he's obviously lived with his kids and raised his family there. But I mean, there's technology.
I was going to say, from a technology standpoint, you better upgrade it then.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like,
you got to put.
You got to build
money.
studios.
Yeah.
Build studios. The connection's got to be instantaneous.
Perfect.
I don't want to have this whose turn to talk situation that they kept having last year. I think golf is the one that would be. That's the one that could be fun. But they don't have that many properties. What do they have? Just the British Open on ESPN?
No, they do the first 2 days of the Masters.
There's zero chance Masters is letting that happen. Zero.
Agreed.
Right?
British Open would
They
be
threw
great,
Gary
though.
McCord. They said, do not ever come on the property again, sir. And all he said was, what did he say? The greens were bikini waxed? And they said, you're out.
And they buried elephants.
Gone.
Yep.
Gone. Good day, sir. They wouldn't let Berman on.
Yeah.
Because Berman was, they said, well, you can't do that. We're not having that. Nance you may have it ESPN, but Nance is going to call it. It's not, they do whatever they want. So the only place that you could do it is probably the British, where you could have some sort of
it'd be great. Wake up
you got to get
with
the
the Manning
right
bros.
personalities.
Get some
do that.
Yeah, some Bloody Marys and the British. Let's go.
Yeah, I like where your head's at on that one for sure. All right, so we've got some mock drafts we got to get to. We will get into that coming up as the program goes along. It's the NFL Honors tonight. We'll pick our winners of those awards. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. The weather's cold outside. Would a nice hot bath or shower feel amazing? Why not transform your bathroom into a custom bath? It'll feel like a spa. That's what the Bath Authority does. They can make it a reality for you at a fraction of the cost of the competitors. They can do it in about a day. The Bath Authority is Cleveland's premier bath and shower remodeler, expert factory-trained installers. Call now for $500 off your next custom bath or shower remodel. You can call 216-220-8399. You can go to bathauthority.com. It's where affordability meets quality. They have the largest selection of bath projects. They're all made in the United States. Change your bathroom from outdated to outstanding. Acrylic tubs that insulate and keep the heat into tub-to-shower conversions. It's as simple as this. Superior Products, expert installers. It is thebathauthority.com at 216-220-8399. Call now for $500 off your next custom bath or shower. CBS Sports ranked all 55 Super Bowls. This is 1 through 4?
Yes.
So they're all recently, for starters. Lots of Patriots.
Of course.
Always involve the Patriots. So Patriots Seahawks is number 1.
Okay.
That's it's great. It's an interception at the goal line. Giants Patriots, is that the undefeated? Is that the David Tyree catch? I think you're viewing it from the historical, not because that was a great game. It was 17-14. That wasn't some great game.
It was the historical significance.
Right. It's the idea of it's an undefeated team. The Eagles-Patriots, 41-33 in Super Bowl 52. That was a great game. That one had a lot to it.
Brady had the ball at the end.
Yeah, I would not have had that as an 8-point number, though, at the end. I thought for some reason it didn't seem like they needed the touchdown and the two on that one. Patriots-Falcons was the most stupefying Super Bowl I've ever seen. Because it made
28-3
like it was
in the third quarter.
Well, you just watched it in disbelief.
Yeah.
That this was all transpiring the way that it did. I think one thing to remember, initially you would say, you get all mad and you say, well, gosh, these are all Patriots. They're all from recent years. But then you have to remember that if you're our age, most of the Super Bowls sucked.
Yeah.
They were
terrible.
Beatdowns.
Growing up.
The first Super Bowls that I remember, the first Super Bowl I remember watching was 84. And the Niners drilled the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I have a slight memory of the Redskins and Raiders in 83, barely. But 85 is the Bears. That's a beatdown. Then it's Giants over Broncos. That's a beatdown.
Yeah, the NFC just dominated.
You had a great one.
Redskins.
Niners-Bengals was a good one.
Redskins over the Broncos was a beatdown. Doug Williams.
Yep.
The Giants-Bills was good.
Yep. Norwood.
The next time on the kick. I mean, that's down to a kick. That was a good game. But then the Niners obliterated
Denver, but before that they beat the Bengals on the last drive.
Yeah, last drive. John Taylor. Was a good one.
That was a great one.
So there's a good one there. And then all the ones the Cowboys were in with the Bills were all lopsided.
It's interesting. So I wrote down kind of just off the top of my head, I had those Giants-Pats. I loved the Steelers-Cardinals game, Santonio Holmes' catch. I had the Niners, obviously.
That was a great game.
The Niners-Bengals was a good game with the comeback. And then for the Patriots games, one of the most fun games I remember watching from a Patriots standpoint was the Patriots-Panthers.
Yes.
That was
by the way,
wasn't that a shootout? Where is that on this list?
So here's the funny thing about that, and the theme in most of these games. The scoring didn't come until like the third and fourth quarter. It was like the two
there
teams.
It is. It's number 11. Yeah.
Low scoring back and forth. That game that you're talking about, Zegura, all of a sudden, fourth quarter, it became a heavyweight fight, and there was score. And you were like, the last team with the ball is going to win this game. And neither one had really done a whole lot in that first half.
And if I remember, and I think I do, because I'm reading it, and this confirms that I did remember it, John Casey, the kicker for the Panthers, kicked the kickoff out of bounds. That gave the Pats the ball at the 40, and then Vinatieri hit the game winner after they had tied it at 29.
And that was Vinatieri's second game-winning field goal to win a Super Bowl because he did it when they beat the Rams.
Brinson wrote this, right? He goes, fun fact, I watched one of my roommates slap another roommate when the second guy started cheering for the Pats late in this game. It's a great note.
What about the
Niners-Ravens was awesome, too. 34-31.
That was a great game. That was in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Kaepernick drove them down. They had a chance to win
it. If he didn't call that timeout, they won. They would have won the game
on
the keeper to the left.
Yeah, they had it. I was at that one, and when the power went out, I thought I was terrified. I thought it was a terrorist attack. I really did because the lights went out at the Superdome, and I thought, oh my God, what's just
fair?
happened? It was
that
terrifying.
is why,
and everybody was like going. It was terrible. I hated that.
In the back of our road case, there is a rotary dial phone.
Yeah.
And it is there because that is what CBS called the Super Bowl off of until they could get everything back up and running.
That's right.
I have a rotary dial phone in the back of our one case.
Has the Super Bowl has not been back to New Orleans since.
Sad.
Since 13. They're there in 2025, but it has not been back since the lights went out in New Orleans. Yeah, that game was awesome, though. Bless you. That was just a phenomenal football game.
Kick return touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great.
Jacoby Jones. Rams-Titans, that's what you were bringing
Rams,
up with the stop, the gray shell
Oh,
on
that's
turf.
right
Stop
on.
at the 1 yard line.
The 1 yard line.
That's number 8 on this list.
I think a lot of people, when you think of greatest show on turf, I think they think of them in the navy blue with the Vegas gold, like the soft gold, championship gold, as that is the. But they won it in the yellow and blue the year before, and then they failed a lot.
Yeah.
After that,
They sure did. By the way, I think it's funny. You're not going to like it as much, but the worst Super Bowl ever is featuring Steve Young.
That's the worst?
Yeah, 55.
I mean, there were some dogs. I think that one of the worst Super Bowls ever was the Bears and the Colts when Manning won it with the Colts in the rain. I mean, Devin Hester took the opening kick back, but I mean, it's a 20. I think it was like 29-17, but it was like, there's no way that they were ever going to lose. Boy, the Saints beating Indy. I did not remember that 31-17 because the Colts were in control of that game, and then Sean Payton with the onside kick to start the half.
Basket, and then there was a pick 6 in that game as well.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Green Bay beating Pittsburgh by 6. I'm trying to think of some of these from a little bit more recent. Oh, my God, the Bucs and Raiders was a beatdown, 48-21.
The Ravens' first Super Bowl was
awful.
awful.
That was awful.
That defense, just the Giants.
Billick and Fossil.
Midfield.
Yeah, that was no good. Denver Green Bay was good with Elway, his first one when they beat the Packers. The Packers were big favorites in that game. That was a good Super Bowl. But, yeah, look at these blowouts. Yeah. So I'm trying to tell the kids, like,
it's not guaranteed to be a good game.
If you're our age, and so I said the 83 season, that was the first one that I had some memory of. That's 38-9 Raiders over Washington. Then it's 38-16 Niners over Dolphins, 46-10 Bears over Patriots, Giants 39-20, Redskins 42-10. Then the close game 20-16 49ers over Bengals,
55-10.
55-10.
Yeah.
49ers over Broncos.
Beating.
Then 20-19, so a good one. That's the Norwood miss. That was for the win. I for some reason I thought it was for the tie. Washington over the Bills 37-24. Dallas over the Bills 52-17. Dallas over the Bills 30-13. Niners over that Chargers team was god awful 49-26.
I feel like that game was in the rain too a little bit.
It was a little bit.
Joe Robbie.
Yeah.
Dallas over Pittsburgh 27-17. Green Bay over the Patriots 35-21. All of those, by the way, are NFC wins. 2 were close. Everything else was at least
all
2
NFC
scores. All NFC wins.
Every year.
Every single year. Like, you remember trying to sell the idea that somehow Buffalo was going to play close to Dallas? It's like they were never going to.
How often do you think Scott Norwood thinks about that? Like, do you think he thinks about that every single day?
What do you think the length of that kick was?
41 yards, I think.
Was that what it was? 41
or 43?
Yeah, makeable, but not a chippy.
No,
especially not back
the
then.
Biggest moment of your life.
Yeah, in a different. I didn't realize that was for some reason. I thought that was for a tie. I didn't realize that was for the win that he missed.
47.
That's a full day. Like you know, especially in that day and age. I mean, everyone wasn't bombing 55-yarders at that time. Like you missed.
Yeah, 40.
It's funny how in your mind's eye you remember that so differently. I would have guessed. You said 41. I would have been around there.
Yeah, I thought 40.
I would not have had 47 on that one.
Norwood was 1 for 5 on field goal attempts of more than 40 yards on grass that in his career. Think about that. 1 of 5 on grass in his career. Longest field goal being 48 yards that season, which is unusually short by modern NFL standards. He lined up from the right hash. Kick had sufficient distance, pass about a foot to the right of the right-hand goalpost. The field goal attempt failed. Al Michaels calling the game said no good wide right. Later video analysis revealed Frank Reich mistakenly aligned the laces to the right, thereby positioning the kicked ball to fade right once in the air.
I didn't know that.
Gosh. No one has that part of the story.
So it was Ray Finkel based on Scott Norwood.
Finkel and Einhorn. Unbelievable.
While the character was inspired by Buffalo Bills kicker Scott Norwood for his missed kick in the 1991 Super Bowl, the likeness the movie used for Finkel was none other than Oklahoma Sooners legend Uwe von Schaman, who kicked for the Dolphins from 79 to 84, but based on Scott Norwood.
Isn't it funny how you like I was at the one of the worst Super Bowls ever in Jacksonville. I mean, that city just couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
To the surprise of anyone who's been there. The Patriots winning 24-21 over the Eagles. I was there. I was on the field for the entire game. I don't remember. I couldn't tell you, other than Terrell Owens having a good game with a broken leg on no rest. I could not tell you how that game went. I don't remember the game.
I don't remember that one at all.
Yeah, none. So, all right, there you go.
Well, can I say one thing real quick? So I'm scrolling through this, and we're looking at the game.
Giving everybody bonus contact. We weren't even supposed to do this.
I know. We were walking out on a high note. 35-21 Packers over the Patriots. The picture they have, obviously, Desmond Howard was Super Bowl MVP, had the 99-yard touchdown on the kickoff return that stopped the comeback, and when they had closed it. Those Patriots uniforms are god-awful.
They're brutal.
I mean, I don't even remember. I remember the helmet. I did not remember the giant Patriot head man on each shoulder pad, like gigantic. Those are horrific.
Oh, yeah.
How do they go from Pat the Patriot to these? Like, their new ones are still okay, but
they're fine.
They should go back again.
Well, clearly. Yeah.
You had it right.
You had it right. I think it was just a case of where they wanted to rid themselves because they were such a woe-begone organization with Pat the Patriot that they just wanted new branding. Like, you see that from time to time. I think that's why Denver went to theirs, because they had lost all the Super Bowls in the light blue hats with the orange shirts.
So beautiful.
They're so gorgeous, though. Yeah. Well, next year we'll have a new helmet. You'll have the helmet rules.
Next year we're going to have all of this stuff. You can have anything that's ever been done before. You can potentially have.
Yeah.
A white would be so good on the throwbacks. The 46.
Ticket prices continuing to fall at the Super Bowl, by the way.
Of course.
2 days ago, $6,000 for the cheapest ticket. It's down to $3,800.
What?
Today?
I was looking at NBA All-Star Game tickets. I was thinking about taking the boys. Won't be doing that.
Yeah, those not doing that.
Not doing that. I don't believe I'll be doing that.
You can go watch Miles play on Friday night. The Wolves team.
Love Miles.
What about All-Star Saturday night?
Same.
No, they're
crazy. Yeah, they're crazy. Yeah, I'm not doing it. Yeah. Sorry, boys. Another time.
Yeah, it is. These things are dropping. Like Darren Ravel tweets, the most expensive seat yesterday was $33,500 for a ticket. Today it's down to $19,400.
Yeah, and it'll keep going. When you start hearing 87 degrees in a greenhouse, it's going to go down.
The parking is trash.
Yeah, the parking sucks.
It is a nightmare to get to.
Correct. Like, are you sure you want to do that? OBM, Ohio Business Machine, preferred copier provider, your Cleveland Browns. They have all the X's and O's for your office. Call 216-485-2000 or visit ohiobusinessmachines.com. The NFL honors are tonight. We'll hand out our awards coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Here for my friends at EOX Vantage. EOX Vantage connects core systems that don't talk, from reporting and analytics to insight and decision making. Gain a complete picture of your business. You can eliminate the Excel nightmares from business processes. I can speak to that directly. This is a big one for you. You can see all your data in one place. You can gain real-time insight to make data-driven decisions on performance through visualization dashboards. With EOX Vantage, you can benefit from lower overall costs, better alignment between technology and specific business needs, scalability, easy deployment, and management. EOX Vantage makes your data work smarter to move your business forward. It's as simple as that. You're about growth, and your software should be too. With EOX Vantage, it can be. Your company can scale effortlessly. Local presence, but global footprint, and trusted by some of the world's biggest brands. Check them out at www.eoxvantage.com. Tonight is the NFL Honors. Who's hosting this? Do we know? They have like a comedian or something, or is it just?
I don't know.
Just
Is it Kay?
I'm looking. I feel like no. I thought she was on the red card.
I could see her doing red carpet.
She's on the red
carpet,
I
yeah.
imagine she'd host.
Hold on.
And I don't think they'd have Eisen because I think usually they want a comedian. This feels like something that would be prime for like a Rob Riggle. Don't you think that this would be right in his wheelhouse?
It would be, and it would be a Wriggles. I was never as big a Wriggle guy
No.
as some other people, to be honest. That would be I wouldn't.
Same. He's really good in like the scenes in The Hangover.
Sure.
In a little moment
Of energy.
but anything built around him, I just feel like.
Remember when they forced him into like one of the pregame shows for a while?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like I'd like the
Fox.
cousin Sal or Kimmel would be a great host.
Sal can't be the host. He could be a sidekick. He can't be the host.
Fontana text
the
me. Thank you,
cuss.
Maddie. Keegan Michael Key.
Oh,
Yeah,
perfect.
see,
Wonderful.
So yeah, that's what you're gonna do.
That's
Kimmel's
tremendous.
not doing this. He
Didn't
does the
go to
Oscars.
James Franklin one year? Didn't he show up at like the Penn State he walked in for like the team meeting?
Oh, did he?
And he imitated.
Yeah.
He had it down pretty good.
Where are we on these? Like these award shows before the Super Bowl? It's a fun party, I'm sure, for everybody involved.
I like that it's not on Saturday. They've gotten smart about it and moved it to at least during the week.
Yeah.
They're moving a lot of this stuff to during the week, which is great.
Yeah, because
they
then you,
should.
then you don't get lost. You're gonna get lost on a
the
Saturday
commissioner's
night.
press conference used to be on Friday afternoon.
Correct, and they did it yesterday.
Yeah, I
Strange.
don't lose it. By the way, how do we get in on that game in Germany over the next 4 years? Let's go to Oktoberfest.
Good grief.
I mean,
Listen, baby steps. Focus on your first task at hand, which is
it already got it. It's been.
it's already dead.
Oh yeah,
Sad. Hate to see it.
it lasted a whopping 10 seconds, and it was.
Yet somehow we're going to the combine.
Oh yeah, you're going to the combine.
The fact that we can go to the combine, but we can't can't go to the draft
The draft.
in Vegas.
Sad.
No.
All right.
not
Comeback player
Moving
of the
on.
year. Comeback player of the year. Joe Burrow. Who you got?
Would you do Joe Burrow or would you do Dak Prescott?
I would do Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow. Sure.
Shredded knee, Super Bowl.
How about a little traveling music?
Offensive rookie of the year.
Jamar Chase.
Chase.
Yep.
And I would say you could do, like, he's the most impactful addition to any team in the NFL. Like, I could give a roadmap to the Rams in the Super Bowl with Goff because they've done it before.
Along with Stafford.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But there's a roadmap where the Rams could have gotten to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff because I know I've seen him do it. There is no roadmap for the Cincinnati Bengals in the Super Bowl without Jamar Chase.
I'm not so NFL.com has like a 29-person panel.
Yep.
Writers, reporters,
Okay.
Yep.
voting on these, giving their predictions. 28 votes went to Jamar Chase. 1 went to Jalen Waddle, and it was Kyle Brandt.
Kyle did?
That's what it says.
He had a great
That would
moment.
be Gil Brandt.
That
Oh,
would
is
be-
it Gil Brandt?
There you go.
Gil.
That
Hold
would-
on.
He's a city fish.
There's no way that's Kyle. Kyle, by the way, I can't imagine.
Sorry, Kyle.
He and the Miz had some nice moments.
That
together.
moment with he and the Miz was fun. That was cool to see.
It was.
And it was cool how, like, Kyle pointed out how Mike saved him, and showed him this is what's coming for you now that you're done with this show. And Mike was like, "Look, I wanted you guys to understand what I was had to deal with and how rough it was for me. And so that's why he came back to the wrap party to, like, share with them. And Kyle's like, you're like my big brother. Like, you actually prepared me for what it was going to be like now that I'm off the show. So it was a good moment.
By the way, speaking of The Miz doing his Radio Row stuff I've seen all week.
Yeah.
He put Mr. Perlman in his place on his new little CBS show.
I don't know what that's referring to.
Is that McLovin?
Oh, Perloff.
Perloff.
Did I say Perlman?
Perloff.
I'm on a roll.
Pearl. Yeah, he was on. I was texting with him when he went on there. What did he say to him?
Perloff's like, he's giving him a little beef about Cleveland because, you know, our guy's standing up for us.
Yeah.
Miz is standing up for us. And he looks at him and he goes, aren't you from Philly?
Yeah.
He goes, you're home of a cheesesteak. That's what you're hanging your hat on. A cheesesteak.
Attaboy.
Good job.
Attaboy.
And he just went on for like 2 minutes. The other host was like, I'm not saying a word because this guy's just putting people in body bags.
That's great. When's that show air?
It's a professional talker, folks.
Who knows?
I don't know.
Professional talker.
Offensive Player of the Year.
It's got to be Cooper Kupp. The guy won the Triple Crown.
Yep.
It's got to be.
I mean, your other options are Jonathan Taylor,
Debo.
It's
Tom Brady. Willie McGinnis voted for Tom Brady.
Okay.
I would do Kupp.
Same.
I would do Kupp. I almost think Offensive Player of the Year should be Offensive Player, not a quarterback, because quarterbacks are always going to win the MVP.
Yeah.
So it should be Offensive Player, not quarterback.
Yes.
Of the year. So it should have been Derrick Henry in recent years. Jonathan Taylor had a hell of a year. But, I mean, you win the Triple Crown. Case closed. Defensive Rookie of the Year.
I mean, these are the easiest awards ever. These are the most.
Parsons.
Unanimous on NFL.com.
Right.
Gil got it right there.
Yep.
Shame on Gil Brandt for messing up the Jamar Chase.
He also went Dak Prescott over Joe Burrow.
Cowboys. Gil's always loyal.
How about them Cowboys?
He also has Matt Stafford as the MVP of the league.
It's a bold move, Cotton. Parsons and Deebo Samuel will be the two names this is my prediction for the combine and the months that follow.
Find the next. Cooper Kupp, I bet, too.
Those two. How do we find the next Deebo Samuel? How do we find the next Micah Parsons, ignoring the fact that both of those guys are so unique in skill set?
Goes back to the Mahomes conversation.
Yeah. You can't force that. Those will be the guys we hear.
way
We
of
will be so sick of, he's the next Deebo. No, he's not. He's not the next Deebo. He's the next Mike. No, he's not.
Not.
Defensive Player of the Year.
TJ Watt. I mean, he missed games and every game that he was in, he's impactful.
Yeah, you could certainly do Aaron Donald here too.
So TJ Watt got 20 votes, Aaron Donald 7. Gil Brandt voted for Nick Bosa. Might have to take away the ballot box from Gil.
He did on the thing where it lists all their ballots.
Parsons
it has them on Watt.
I could understand Parsons.
Oh. Yeah, you can understand Parsons.
But
I think Watts. If Watt's ever going to win it, this is the year for him to do it.
One note, real quick: the reason that Willie Mack G picked Tom Brady as the Offensive Player of the Year is because he had Cooper Kupp as his MVP.
Oh,
so he flip-flopped.
He's zagging.
Yep.
Yeah, good for him for bucking the trend.
Yeah. Coach of the Year. This is one where there's some interesting dialogue if you want to have it.
I'm going to say Vrabel, and the reason I'm going to say Vrabel is if I were to tell you at the beginning of the season that Derrick Henry would miss more than half of the year, that Julio Jones would be a complete non-factor, that A.J. Brown would miss, what did he miss, a handful of games?
Right.
And that they would be the number 1 seed in the AFC, you would have said, I'll have what you're having, because it sounds like a good time to live in that kind of a fantasy land.
Yeah. I think you had that right.
And yet it happened.
Yeah. And when is this balloting done? Is it done like at the end of the regular season, or is it done?
That's
it should
a good
be.
question because LaFleur finishes. He got 2 votes. Zach Taylor got 13 and Vrabel 14. None for Bill Belichick, which I'm kind of surprised by.
They tailed off a little bit.
Yes.
I mean, Zach Taylor would be another. Like no one had them winning the division before the year, obviously. I'll tell you, Rich Bisaccia with the Raiders.
Yeah,
having them in the mix
should have gotten a vote
with what they did. He did an incredible job there. Old boy with the Eagles who was planning things. He did a great job.
He grew them.
He grew things, man. Yeah, he really did. Sean Payton with the Saints to go 9-8 with that group. I mean, he started Ian Book for a game at quarterback there. But no, I think it's Vrabel.
Vrabel gets
it's
my vote.
Vrabel.
There's just no way that you would ever believe that.
No.
Even with everybody healthy, you wouldn't have believed they'd have been the 1 seed in the AFC.
No.
No way.
No chance. So that gets you to MVP. And if you're doing this at the end of the regular season, it's Rodgers. And he'll probably be the one to win it. But
he won last year as well, right?
Yeah. So, but how do you feel about that? You know? And I don't recall, like, the years that Manning won it all the time. Like, I don't remember if there were shows like this or if there was any sort of buyer's remorse with Manning because he was so great in the regular season. But there's a little bit of Manning to Rodgers here.
In this
case, will be
absolutely.
His fourth. Well, and last year, too. This will be his fourth MVP. I mean, that's starting to be pretty rarefied air.
Yep.
And it's 2 years in a row where you have playoff game at your place.
Lose.
And you lose.
By the way, did you see his baller move yesterday out at the
No. What did he do?
The Waste Management Open? They were announcing him. I guess there was a celebrity pro-am before they got things started today. And they were announcing, and he was like, 3 times. He goes, shakes down the 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Called his shot.
Calling his shot.
Called his shot.
By the way, speaking of the number 4, 4-time Super Bowl champion, undefeated Super Bowl champion, Joe Montana apparently cruising around Radio Row today.
So, you know, that would be one that would be.
You would geek out.
Yes.
I don't even know what.
Yeah, I would. I would be in awe of Joe.
Dude,
I
are
mean,
you kidding me?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
See, like,
I just don't know how I would deal with the show if he just was like, if I sat him down at the table and I said, you only have 8 minutes.
oh, you just fanboy out for 8 minutes.
Yeah, 8 minutes
it
of
would,
just.
It would be Farley with Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
That's what it would be.
Do you remember that time? When you saw Paul McCartney in the front row? That was awesome.
It's awesome.
It was awesome.
It's awesome.
He threw it
That's
to
all it
John
would be.
Taylor. Remember when you beat the Broncos 55-10?
That's it.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. Do you remember that time?
Remember the time that you threw
Awesome.
that ball up to Dwight Clark in the back of the end zone? And he made a catch? That catch? It's awesome.
It's awesome.
So awesome.
That's all you do.
Yeah.
It's all you would do. I would do the same.
It'd be the best.
It's a wide array then that you're getting Joe Montana on Radio Row, but you're also getting like John Sally on Radio
Yeah.
walking around. Like it's a
Which
wide
I think would
range
be a
of it.
fantastic interview.
Yeah, but it's like
Best
at the
Damn
end he's
Sports
gonna
Show
sell.
stories,
Oh
Bad
yeah.
Boys.
Well, if you were on non-broadcast, I think it would be even more. You have a lot. But yeah, this is all pretty straightforward, I think, on the MVP side and on all these
It being
awards.
that straightforward.
No, It seemed like usually there was a little bit more up for grabs on that side of things. But that is tonight, the NFL honors tonight. When a medical mistake caused your injury, call the medical malpractice attorneys at 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Elk & Elk is a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Still so much more to come. You're listening to
So
Cleveland
much.
Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
All right, wrapping it up here on today's Cleveland Browns Daily. Just in case you are just joining us, too bad you missed a lot of fun. We had the Hoff on earlier today, handed out some NFL honors as well. But the big news, and there was actually some news relating to the Browns today. Defensive line coach Chris Kiffin back with the Browns. After 1 month, he left, joined his brother Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, said, college isn't for me.
It was always good to me.
Yeah, well, it was great for us, but we moved on, though. You have to graduate from college, and Kiffin saying, I think I like it here with Kevin Stefanski and the Cleveland Browns, and so he is back as the Browns defensive line coach. That means the Browns are returning every position coach on both sides of the ball and special teams as well. They did make a change at the assistant special teams coach position, and the assistant defensive line coach left as well. But that's it. So your coaching staff now fully intact at each position like it was a year ago with the return of Chris Kiffin. Also some big trades in the NBA. I'm sure you'll hear about that and much, much more. The next level is next here on ESPN Cleveland. Thanks for joining us for another edition of Cleveland Browns Daily.